My name is Tom Davis. I'm the CEO of Skills Inc. My job is to run a company that supports about 300 people with developmental disabilities, people at lots of different capacity levels. And we do that in lots of traditional ways. We have group homes and day programs and all the stuff that large companies that deal with populations with disabilities do. But we also run a number of businesses. We call them social enterprises. We were looking for something that made sense in terms of the future, and it seemed to me that e-waste is a problem that's only going to get bigger.
I don't know how many people anticipated how we rely on electronics for almost everything we do. Computers and laptops and televisions and cable boxes and video games, once they become obsolete, really have nowhere to go.
We were looking at somebody to reuse our computers.
If I ship that material on a pallet to a company outside of the state, I am not sure what's happening with that equipment.
Unfortunately, it might end up overseas in a third world country where you see kids working in basically electronic sewers.
DeLorme is a map publishing company. We actually create map data. There are areas in the company, such as development and product engineering, that have to cycle through equipment about every 3 years. Printing off the label and packing up a battery is one thing. We have 20 pallets of monitors. We need a method where that equipment is going to be processed appropriately, and it's going to be a limited impact for our IT department.
So today, we set up a collection event where people could bring in their old cell phones, computers, printers, scanners, laptops, to be refurbished if they can be, recycled if they can't be.
Thank you, sir.
I thought you were going to bring a CRT.
I'm going to bring that at lunch.
The Macs that we sent last week, with the monitor with the computer right inside.
Yeah, all in one.
Did they work? I mean,
you guys have given us like 20 of those.
Yeah.
They're beautiful. Some of them you gave back to us in the box. It wasn't the original box, but everything was there.
How many of these we get?
I think we got over a dozen of these.
Have these all been tested yet?
Yes.
Everything on here is good?
Yes.
There's a concept called the digital divide. People who live in rural areas, people who may be economically challenged, either do not have access to technology or do not have sufficient access to technology. And by going through the pile that's thrown away by businesses, we can take a lot of that pile and put them in the hands of people who really both want it and need it.
As a young kid, I actually was tearing things apart.
Yeah? So
My dad always would go, we used to get mad at me.
So you're good at ripping things apart, huh?
Yeah. So I figured...
Having people with disabilities employed in these businesses is really central to who we are and what we do. You can believe who you want for the unemployment rate, but it's well in excess of 95%.
It actually feels awesome. There's, you know, they feel like I've accomplished something that I know I'm getting paid for.
When you can go out in the world and earn a living, that's going to make a big difference in your life. You're going to have a life you didn't have before.
Public resources are diminishing. Need and mission aren't going to go away, but accessing the markets, generating profit are going to be key to nonprofits trying to fulfill those missions going forward. We're trying to create our own revenue stream so that we can support people in the way we want to support those people. The markets can do things that nothing else can do. And to try and harness the power of the markets on behalf of people with disabilities is fascinating to me.